This was a project, a kit that I got at Starlight Knitting Society from the, I think, 2018 Rose City Yarn Call. This is the Field Shawl by Max and Cyr using Le Garçon yarn, 2 skeins. It was just very easy knitting, I-cord edge, and I know that there's a few bobbles in it, but I like it.
It's cool.
It's very soft.
Yes.
Do you see that?
You should have known.
It's unfortunate.
And is our next victim volunteer?
This is my 3rd ever project. It's a top-down sweater, Malabrigo yarn. I loved it because of the color, and I'm quite happy with how it's going so far.
So this is the core vest. I knitted in Aaron's yarn, Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. By Jared Flood. So fun pattern, pretty simple, nice and easy, but the colors are fun.
Very handsome Jack.
Can you wear it without crying?
Huh?
Can you wear it without crying?
All right. Walter.
So I ended up at a charity shoe sale and bought shoes, but the shoe has this lovely inner liner. So as any of you would do, I decided I had to make the sock to go with it. And this is Brethren Sock by Millard. There's a few moderate alterations because I find when I've made it before it's been a bit tight on my heels, so I've added bits and made it on a bigger needle and made it much longer than you might do. And you all saw my name tag, and I don't know whether to issue a challenge, but if you did name tags next year, if people did them, I might find something in my stash to give you. How's that? Just as
Do you have a pattern?
the best one. I just winged it.
So do you have a pattern?
Yeah, y'all can do that.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a wreck.
Okay.
So, last year I decided that I was going to go finish all the things that were sitting in the timeout box. And this is the first one that I had finished. And I must say I did everything except the zipper and the lining. So it's lined. So it's a winter line jacket. So I did most of the design. I stole the colorway from somewhere, but anyway, so this is finished finally after I think maybe 5 years. So that was finished. And then this is a scarf. The pattern is you can find it on Ravelry. It's called Ombre e Luce, I guess, light and darks. But the cool thing about it is one of these yarns is the MFKR 22 from Jonathan. It's Silkpaca, and the other one is Aquamarine, but this one is the bespoke Dumas Bay colorway that he did when you asked dyers to do yarn.
Awesome.
That's what this is made of. And so here's the scarf itself. It's terribly large. Yeah, so these are both of Jonathan's yarns and some beads to go with it. So there you go.
this year I really wanted to challenge myself to a Cape Facet project.
Wow.
So, I knit this Intarsia sweater with 18 colors. It was a lot of ends to weave in. Very proud of it.
So last year I brought Shetland lace that I was working on, and this is the one that I started and finished this year. It's called Erlkönig, which means elf and king, which is a Schubert song.
Yes.
Schubert art song. It's knitted. You start at this end and knit the edging, and then you pick up and do this next part, and then do the center up toward the end, all in garter, thank God. So,
Yes. Wow, very good.
I think it's got like 80, maybe 80 grams of yarn.
So this is the yarn I was spinning at the retreat last year. It's a 4-ply BFL, 430 some odd yards. I don't know how much it weighs, and I didn't bring a scale. So anyway, there's yarn I made. And this is a West Knits slumber shawl in Silpeka worsted. Actually,
Is that the one you
This-
started this morning?
yeah, no. This is the color that you guys are getting, that sort of light blue business there.
Yeah, you're already there.
It's our turn.
Not embarrassing.
You're right in the stage.
Just do it.
So what's the standout? There's a
Stand up,
show
show.
and just
Show and tell.
Show and tell's right there this year.
Okay.
You're up.
So this one is Max's fault. He is
Yeah.
the local Marie Wallen pusher. He made one and it was so pretty. I had to make one too. And then this one is my second time spinning for a project. So this is Andrea Mowry's shift shawl, a shift cowl. And so I chose the colors and spun for it. And, yeah. So are we passing it?
No, it's on my table. Where was your shirt?
During lockdown.
She wants to see your shirt.
Oh, they're not done with you yet.
The Yume polo knitted in linen.
Very good.
Now put it on the table.
During lockdown, Ken organized a hat swap for our knitting group, an anonymous one, and I ended up drawing his name and request, which was a hat with a bill, brim.
Oh, I don't ever wear like.
Yeah, you heard.
Yeah.
It was pretty specific. And I'd never knit a baseball cap, and I did, and I promise you, I would not have knit it for anybody but you, Ken.
Oh, that's great. Maybe I love that.
I'm glad. I did not enjoy the process. Yes, I have one more. And this, I think I started about a year ago. It's Josh's, it's UV reactive, and it won second place at the county fair. There I am.
A couple of years ago, I don't know how long, Franco came and measured us all, and I have made 4, and this is the first one that fits. I spent this weekend ripping the sleeves apart because they were just too big for my skinny body. but finally a Franco sweater that I can wear.
Okay, here you go. So on my way here, I actually found this in one of my totes, and this is, funny enough, one of the very first projects I made when I was like 16.
Wow.
And it is the high sea shawl. And it's very, very, very old. So it's like 40 years ago. I know it was. But yeah, ta-da, old yarn.
All right, like Paul, I decided to do some UFO landing, and I just wanted to show this. Well, first of all, this yarn is so soft, but it also sticks. It's just cables. It should be simple. I have frogged and reknit pieces of this from here up. It's just been a bitch, but I am gonna finish this bitch and have it next year to show. There you go. It's from Luxury Knits. Also, forever and ever, it doesn't expire. If you ever want to go on my website and buy one of these things or what have you, put in MFKR when you check out, you get 25% off. And if you want something in particular, feel free to always text me, message me, whatever, you know, want some custom thing made, be glad to do it for you. Thank you. Thank you.
So I didn't really think anything.
Oh, Yarn Dragon.
Other than, I really love this orange colorway from Fiber Hustle called It's Good for the Eyes.
Yes.
And remind me what the
Into the Great Wide Open.
Into the Great Wide Open is the Tom Petty. So I finished this yesterday. It's the Traveler hat, or not the Traveler hat, the Basket Weaver hat. And then I did the Duskland shawl, the mini one, in the same color with some mohair.
I can't see it. Can you hold it up,
No, hold there. Oh, he's gonna.
So the first thing is
Oh, yes.
color opportunity. So this is the Stephen West.
can't see them. Bring them closer.
Really?
Kind of dark.
So this was the Stephen West surprise sock knit along, and it was really cool to do it. Believe it or not, most of it is done flat, and the only parts that are in the round are the cuff and the toes. So it was really interesting and really a fun knit.
Was it a kit?
It was not a kit.
You put the colors together?
Yeah.
Wow, fantastic.
The next is, this is the John sweater. It's a Lopi sweater. And it was just a real fun knit. I brought it this year to, I had knit the neckline too tight, and I put it on and busted it. So I had to tear out the neckline and reknit it and did a stretchy neckline. But it's really, I really love it.
Bob, did you knit Lopi?
It is Lopi,
Okay.
yeah.
You said that was a John sweater, right?
It's called Jon. Yes, I know. That's the name of the sweater.
Okay.
And the last thing was a knit along with one of my local yarn stores called All Wound Up, and it is a tee called White Caps. And it's nice and sheer.
You gonna model it?
Yeah, I could, but maybe later. Nipple rings might show. But it was a real fun knit. Not very straightforward, and I altered it to give it a little bit more of a back, and I stopped here and made it more of a neckline because she just had a boat neck and not very masculine. Anyway, and I went up 4 sizes in the needle, just to make it a little more sheer, and then really had to decrease the number of stitches. So, but it was fun.
Sorry?
That little button will get you side to side.
Okay.
I don't press anything, right?
You guys have heard the story, a little bit of the story on this. Well, I was telling Michael a little bit earlier, there was a fun story with Franklin Habit. Franklin decided, oh, I'd love to do a chick-along. And it's like, well, I got my Patreons. I bet maybe 5, 10 of them might be willing to do it. In the end, he did a photo list of all pictures of all the chickens, and I believe there were 80 to 90 chickens in there. His Patreon, we just had a ball with all those chickens. And then just finished this project. This is a Romy Hill design. And in starting, it's like, oh, I got scrap yarns I got to get rid of. And one of them was a serial knits. The brown variegated is that. And then I got into the little speckled ones, and that's actually my friend Ken. And then I had a panda, which is a local dyer for me, in the bottom with the real vibrant colors. I have a ball with some of her work. And Romy, I believe I like her because I believe she's in northern Nevada, so she's north of me.
Thank you.
I know why, you know, so I'm a little partial to this hat, so I didn't give it away today. But it's homespun, and the gold or the orange is onion skin. I saved up some onion skins and boiled them up and boiled some yarn, or not boiled. And then the brown is, I pilfered some walnuts from somebody's driveway. Nice. So, last year we had a crochet artist, his name was Peter here, and I took his class, you know, it's like a whatnot. So I didn't hook this, so here's I got it marked, but I Tunisian crocheted it. Oh, wow. And so I crocheted a sweater, and it's his pattern and modified, and I winged it. I don't know, but it fits, and it keeps me warm because I don't pay for heat. And it's made out of reverb, and reverb was a fiber or a yarn made by Cascade, which is 70% recycled pop bottles and 30% recycled alpaca, or was it 60 pop bottles, 60 or 40? Anyway, it's plastic. Yeah, you know, it's a good, sustainable yarn, plastic. So,
Carol, could you hold it up? You can show Peter's doing it.
Oh, okay. I guess this is the front.
Thank you.
Okay.
So I hadn't been, since the last retreat, I kind of hadn't knitted a lot until like, I don't know, maybe March or so. And then I decided, I saw that thing and I'm like, I want to make one of those. Thought it was pretty cute. And what better thing to make to kind of like get you out of the slump. So
I knitted it with yarn that I got at like an estate sale, so I don't even know what it is. But
It's so fluffy.
and then I knit a couple of these chop hats by Atelier Couche. Just to get myself ready.
That's the best. I was trying to capture that.
I've been knitting shawls and things and brioches and God knows what for so long, and I thinking, what the hell am I going to knit? I'm so tired of doing this. I need something else. And somebody said you can knit a sock. I haven't knit a sock in years, so I did. So I knit a sock, and sadly it's not in here, the one I knit. But I did knit this one, so that counted. Not included. Yarn that I got from a small dyer in Berlin. And why was I looking for my scissors? Because I didn't cut. They've been blocked, but they haven't been snipped. This is a pair of socks I did as an experiment with my stepdaughter designed a pattern for these, and I was just playing with it. Hers are way more colorful than mine are. If you want to look at them, it's hollyyarn.com, totally knit flat, except for the 3D part, which is still knit flat back and forth, but it's three-dimensional. And because this is actually the first pair of hers I knit, and these actually do fit me. Extra room in the heel. Yarn is, I don't know. Some yarn I had. So that was my sock evening, and now I have my shawl part. And I do have two in here. Does anybody know the Eddie sweater? Eddie Redmayne? It's a story. Julia Farwell Clay wrote about it. It was a Prada sweater that Eddie Redmayne actually modeled when he was a Prada model. And she went looking to see how it was made, and she did find it. She wrote an article in Modern Daily Knitting about it with a pattern, which I found and copied and used to design a scarf for myself. Since then, she's actually designed the scarf herself. And of course, I was just malingering in the closet. And so I knit a new one, and I haven't written it down, well, I sort of written it down, but it's her pattern, I just adapted it. She starts with a long section here of solid and works downwards to a point, whereas mine starts at the bottom and goes up. But the yarn I used is a self-striping yarn made by Catherine with Gage Dye Works in Victoria. And she makes beautiful, beautiful yarns that when you knit socks are perfectly striped, when you knit shawls are perfectly striped. And she has amazing color. And this is my Eddie scarf, the mini one, because it's the end of a ball and I don't even know what I knit with the other part. I haven't seen it around anywhere. So this is my Eddie shawl. It's you start at the bottom with 1 and go to 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up. So this one was a short sort of repeat, I think. So I also had bought last year when I saw her on Pender Island. She had I said, I'm looking for a rainbow yarn. And she said, well, all I've got here is this, which was called Color Wheel with Cyan. So it is a full hang of yarn. And I kind of needed some color in my life. There we go, it's perfect. So this is my own put together from, and there are other patterns, by the way, online on Ravelry that adapt the same thing to a cowl and to a this and to a that. So, but I haven't seen one of these. But I'm not going to put them over here.
Next.
Anyone else? Okay. Well, I think. Did you have something? Wait, I have something.
There you go.
Awesome.
I was trying to count it. I just finished my first ply of this yarn that I'm creating. I think there's about 190 yards of this. And if you want to see the sample knit, it will knit a solid color of the cream, and then every once in a while it'll have like 8 stitches of one of those colors that's in there. So this is a custom thing. I'm a huge fan of Mr. Rogers, and they just came out with the Knitting in the Neighborhood book recently. And so this is my Mr. Rogers sweater. But there are 4 of them, and I made 2. This one is out of Sestari. It's a guy in Montana that raises his own sheep and dyes it and processes it. And anyway, so I was working on these and had all of the pieces done on this at Christmas time, and the fronts done on this one at Christmas. And I went home for Christmas, and I had never put in a zipper in a sweater. And my mom, when I was a kid, had made a sweater for me that had a zipper in it, so I figured she knew what she was doing. But we still read the book. And I got it basted in, and she's like, "Oh, I can sew it in for you." And I said, "No, I really need to learn how to do this." And she said, "Brian, Mr. Rogers' mother made all of his sweaters. The least I can do is sew in your zippers." So, yeah. So it's really special to me that I can look on the inside of this and see my mom's stitching every time I put these in. So it's kind of sentimental to me, although I have lost weight and these are huge on me now, so I might have to take them apart and re-knit them. And then I'll have to send them to Mom to stitch the zipper back in. But anyway, so these are the 2 Mr. Rogers sweaters. And then last week I finished this, and this is a Jared Flood garden cardigan. I think it's got a really beautiful. And this is Woolpaca, Cascade Woolpaca. And I'm really delighted with it. The 3/4 inch or the 3/4 sleeve is really handy for wearing for work. I always wear cardigans.
What weight is that yarn?
This is a worsted. And yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out. So that's what, I also have a crocheted blanket that I'm working on for my grandnephew. It was supposed to be for his birth. He's now 5 months old. But in April, I walked outside of my condo on a rainy day and slipped on the cement steps, landed on my elbow, completely tore my rotator cuff, partially tore the sub-rotator cuff, and dislocated the bicep tendon. So this is like my 4th week out of a sling after being in a sling for a long time. So I'm glad to be knitting and spinning and creating.
Brian did not share this, but I wanted, a couple of years ago, Brian decided on a career pivot and went back to school and is just finishing up his certification in music therapy. And are you starting your internship this week?
My internship starts this week.
So congratulations. Anyone else? Okay, if you did not get your lovely yarn and jam, please come up and say hello to me.
Yarn and jam, yarn and jam.
Other than that, like, thank you so much. Have a wonderful week.
Thank you, Michael.